Good evening and welcome to the channel's studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5.
A top Russian general says he has been removed from his post in Ukraine after telling military chiefs the truth about the dire situation on the front line. Major General Ivan Popov was the commander of the 58th Army, which has been fighting in the southern Zaporizhia region. In a voice message, Major General Popov said he raised questions about the high casualty rate and lack of artillery support. He said it was necessary either to keep quiet and be a coward or to say it the way it is. New evidence has cast further doubt on the Greek Coast Guard's version of events surrounding last month's deadly migrant boat sinking in which up to 600 people died. Two survivors have described how the Coast Guard pressed them to identify 9 Egyptians on board as traffickers. A new video of the overcrowded boat floundering at sea also challenges the Greek Coast Guard's account. It was taken when the boat was said to be on a steady course. The United Nations Human Rights Office says it has credible evidence that Sudan's Rapid Support Forces killed at least 87 people in West Darfur who were then buried in a mass grave.
The bodies of at least 87 ethnic Masalit and others allegedly killed last month by Rapid Support Forces and their allied militia in West Darfur have been buried in a mass grave outside the region's capital of Al Janina on the orders of the Rapid Support Forces. Local people were forced to dispose of the bodies in a mass grave, denying those killed a decent burial in one of the city's cemeteries. At least 37 bodies were buried on the 20th of June in a 1-meter-deep mass grave. Another 50 bodies were buried on the same site the next day, including bodies of 7 women and 7 children.
Egypt's President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has urged the warring parties in Sudan to stop fighting for talks and to ensure safe passage for the delivery of humanitarian aid. He made the plea during his opening speech at a summit on the conflict, which is being held in Cairo. It is the latest in a series of international efforts to prevent a prolonged civil war and the deepening of a humanitarian crisis. According to the UN, more than 1,000 civilians have been killed and 3 million people have been displaced in the conflict. A heat wave is sweeping across parts of southern Europe and northwest Africa, with potential record-breaking temperatures in the coming days. Temperatures are expected to surpass 40 degrees Celsius in parts of Spain, France, Greece, Croatia and Turkey. In Italy, temperatures could reach as high as 48.8 degrees Celsius. A red alert warning has been issued for 10 cities, including Rome, Bologna and Florence. Residents of India's Delhi have been grappling with the impacts of severe flooding after record rainfall triggered the swelling of a major river in the city. Hundreds of people living in the banks of the Yamuna River were seen wading in flooded roads, carrying belongings and animals through the floodwaters as supplies of drinking water are set to fall by a quarter. Meanwhile, heavy rains have lashed parts of northern China, triggering floods in multiple provinces, engulfing roads and prompting evacuations. Footage carried by the state broadcaster showed severe flooding in parts of Yuncheng City. In total, more than 40,000 people in China's Sichuan province have been evacuated because of the floods. And 5 runners have been injured in the 7th running of the bulls at Pamplona's San Fermin festival in northern Spain. Thousands of tourists come every year from all over the world for the week-long festival to watch runners race through the course chased by fighting bulls. This year marks the 100th anniversary of American author Ernest Hemingway's first visit to the festival, which he made internationally famous in his 1926 novel, The Sun Also Rises.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the channel's studios in Lagos.